On today's episode,
my personality is I'm a very hand-on person, even though I'm already the chairman. The founder of the TSMC, Morris Zhang, they are extremely successful gentlemen. He used to say a good CEO is spending 80% of his time with strategy, 20% in operation. I'm totally opposite. I may spend 95% in operation because in UPS industry is a very typical high mix low volume industry. There are a lot of detail. So the only way you can to achieve successful is to embracing all the detail and execute them to the best efficiency.
Welcome to SuiteTalk, an active share series that taps into the minds of top business leaders. I'm your host, Hugo Scott Gall. Today, I am pleased to welcome Alex Hsieh to SuiteTalk. Alex is the founder, president, and general manager of Voltronic, a leading Taiwan-based company that specializes in the design and manufacturing of uninterruptible power supplies, UPS, and inverters. Since the company's founding in 2008 by Alex, he has led the company with a focus on innovation, vertical integration, and long-term value creation. Alex, thank you for joining me and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So let's start. Lots of questions for you, but let's start with a quick overview of Voltronic. What's the company's mission? What does the company do? And then let's talk about why you decided to found it.
Thank you so much. Voltronic's major business is uninterruptible power supply. That's 70% of our revenue. And we have another 25% coming from solar inverter and another 4%, 5% coming from EV charger. And we have about 5,000 staff located in China, Vietnam, and in Taiwan, and including 500 are R&D engineer. We have a very unique business model. We don't do own brand. We do design and manufacturing only for all the tier 1, tier 2 branding company globally. So we supply to all the famous tier 1 brand company like Schneider, Vertiv, Eaton, ABB, Riello. And on top of that, we have maybe plus 300 to 400, we call local king customer in each region and country in the world. And one of the very unique thing is our no own brand business model. And I believe even till today, many of our tier 1 customers, especially, they have a large portion of their revenue are still in-house manufacturing by themselves. And I also observed that many of the tier 1 customers are already shifting from product supplier to energy management company. So to doing that, I believe that for the product itself, especially for small to medium size, they will gradually outsource it. So this is the revenue we are looking for. And to do that, I think the most important thing is we have to let customer trust our business model, that we don't competing with them. We are the partnership of design and manufacturing. And this is the rule number 1 always for everyone in Voltronic.
You founded the company in 2008. Did you feel like you were taking a big risk? Did you have a high level of confidence that there was a problem that needed to be solved? Was this something you were interested in? Did you have many sleepless nights thinking, wow, you've worked at Apple before, you had a successful career. Why take the risk? Or were you so convinced the world has a problem and I can see a way of solving it?
Indeed. Allow me to go back to my first company, which is Voltronic. I founded my first company in 1988. So that's 37 years ago. It's a company called Centralian. It's a UPS company, but since day 1, I do 100% ODM. And at that time, UPS is still a very small market sector. That was so small, I give you an example that if we are manufacturing and selling 400 units of offline UPS in a month, we are extremely happy. So the revenue was so good. By now, we are manufacturing maybe 400,000 units a month. I was not so happy. So you can see the market is also continue to grow. And in year 2001, I actually sold my first company to a Taiwanese company called Finistech. Finistech at that time is already the largest UPS ODM manufacturer in the world. They serve to all the big brands, and they are also listed company. And the reason why I decided to sell my first company to Finistech is UPS industry is very isolated industry regarding with the human resources. So for many years, I was shortage of the good people and the infrastructure. So by talking to Finistech, I understand they have very good resources on everything. Facility, people, is a very decent and honest, transparent company. So then I sold company. Actually, after sold, I continued to leading my original company, but under their group. And from 2001 to 2007, I continued to leading the company, again, 100% ODM. The revenue will grow from very small, 600 million NT dollar in 2001 to 7.2 billion NT dollar in 2007. So we grow revenue by 10 times within 7 years. Again, 100% ODM. So this give me influence. Number one is for UPS industry of ODM, as long as we are very focused, there is no shortcut, no quick money, and build high mix, low volume product portfolio in a very long tail way, and we can achieve something. So I was really happy I made the decision of joining Finistech. But in end of 2007, the chairman of Finistech, he wanted to retire, and he did not have a second generation interesting to take over his business. So at the end, he decided to sell the company to Eaton, one of his big customer. Eaton certainly is a very powerful, very good company, but they are branding company. Even though Eaton, after this acquisition, were telling me that because Finistech at that time already have about $700 million revenue for ODM. So they also want to build up the ODM. But in my own thinking is no matter how big we are for ODM and branding, we are not possible to do both well. We have to choose. So then I turned down the proposal. I took 6 staff with me in early of 2008, and I founded Voltronic. I start everything from zero again.
So starting from ground zero again, when you don't have to, when you already have a successful career, do you just think about the opportunity, or do you weigh up the risks? How much are you a worrier, or are you a dreamer?
Well, my thinking is very straightforward. I always thinking about what kind of value I can create in the remaining of my professional life. Even though I was not the owner anymore from 2001 to 2007, when I were working in Finistech, but I was very enjoying. There are many things I can create regarding with the UPS ODM. But once this situation closed down, I have no second thought. I understand to create the company again at the age of the 48 was not so easy, but I decided to create that. Followed by that, certainly there are a lot of challenges. You remember that 2008 is year of international financial crisis. So we start to build our factory in Shenzhen in early of 2008. In October that year, the factory ready. We are open for order. I have 200 staff hired. And with the capacity, we are ready to make about 200,000 units of UPS every month. But October is the worst month of the financial crisis year. So all the customer, all the order disappear. That month, we only ship 2,000 units. So my capacity utilization rate is 1%. So October, November, December, we have a very tough situation. We are continuing to losing about 10% of my capital every month. I remember my wife told me in the end of 2008, he said, Alex, if this continue, by March 2009, we are running out of our capital. But I think things come always two sides, good side and bad sides, even though they are very challenging. But because of that, all the staff are working very hard. I remember in the end of 2008, because of very critical impact for global industry, many companies are laying off people or cutting off their salary, etc. I am the very new company. I don't have any of the resources, but I didn't do any of this. I still keep the salary. I even give bonus in that year, even though not much to our staff. And I believe this is also one of the key to build up the company culture, especially when they are in a challenging period of time. So by March 2009, we didn't use up all our cash. In that month, we are break even. So then we start to making profit. But still, I remember even 2009, first half, we are gradually away from the most critical time. All our team members are still trying their very best for cost saving. We didn't ask for that. In Shenzhen, the summertime was very hot. Our staff didn't switch on the air conditioner for that entire summer. So even today, even though we are already have pretty good scale, at 7 p.m. every day, our staff switch off the air conditioner every day. So I think this is the company culture I really cherish. That's also telling me the influence number 2 is, as a leader is not only about the strategy, is more about the resilience that stay with your team and holding all the detail and working very hard.
That's a very tough time to start, October of 2008. But it's very interesting what you say about resilience. And I suppose it has to come from you as the leader. So how do you think about, for a new company, creating a culture? Did you just reflect on what you wanted to achieve on your own values and let that be the template? Or did you actually kind of write down what I want the culture of this company to be?
I make Voltronic a very flat organization, even though we have 5,000 people today, but we have a very little tier about the management team. So when we say management team, it's about 30 people. That's a function head for each function unit. R&D, we have a 12 R&D team. We have a 15 R&D engineer. We have 3 factory manager, 1 manufacturing director, 1 quality director, and 1 sales VP. That's all. And the way I using to pass through my culture, my value, is through ACE operation. My personality is I'm a very hand-on person, even though I'm already the chairman. The founder of the TSMC, Morris Zhang, they are extremely successful gentlemen. He used to say a good CEO is spending 80% of his time with strategy, 20% in operation. I'm totally opposite. I may spend 95% in operation because in UPS industry is a very typical high mix low volume industry. There are a lot of detail. So the only way you can to achieve successful is to embracing all the detail and execute them to the best efficiency. In Voltronic, no matter which tier of the management, they have to be very hands-on. And to achieve that, I have 2 review meetings every day, every week, with all the engineering team, quality team, manufacturing team. Through all the projects, through all the operation, we are reviewing every other detail. And I believe this is one of the very unique thing of the company is our staff can see what I'm doing. They also need to do the same thing. And step by step, it become a culture. And remember that in 2020 to 2022, there is a very severe global supply chain disruption. In electronics and power industry, we use a lot of semiconductor for computing, for power component. And all the semiconductor at that time from tier 1 supplier like, ST Micro, onsemi, Infineon, etc. Everyone has a very serious shortage. And I believe everyone cross industry, the allocation they can get maybe 20 to 30% compared to the normal level. So that's a very big gap of the shortage for everyone. To mitigating that, we have no other smart way. I'm leading all the management team every day, 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon. We review all the shortage component. The number of a shortage, if you are putting the Excel file, you're never able to see the finish line. There are several thousand of that. But we are review one by one. And the way we are review is to find the alternative. We not only need to find one, we need to find maybe 6 or 7 because 1, 2, 3, they will fully utilize very soon by the market already. So again, this is the resilience. This is a company culture I'm passing through. And I believe right now, every tier of the management team, they are working with me 20, 30 years. Many of them, after they graduate, we are working together. So this is one of the very unique value we have in the company.
It sounds like you work incredibly hard. Do you worry about getting burnt out? Do you ever feel a little stale? How do you stay fresh, or are you just extremely driven?
Well, I have my own work-life balance, probably a little bit different than the others. I working very hard. I working until probably 11 p.m. every day, Monday, Friday. Then Saturday, Sunday is my sport day and my family days. I have a dinner family every week with all the family member. And I have a regular sport. I play badminton. I never play golf. Badminton for me is very efficient. Within 20, 30 minutes, your heartbeat can go to 150. So I do that for over 10 years. And I also do many of the jogging, weightlifting. So far, I still keep my body pretty fit.
And would you say that you have evolved as a leader over time? Do you think you've perhaps become better and faster at making decisions, or are you still the sort of same leader you were a decade ago?
Well, we have a very good team. In the recent 3 to 5 years, I hardly make big decision. It's actually the review meeting. We are making many of our small decisions together. In this industry, the ODM, UPS is a mature, slow technology change industry. And our competitor landscape, supplier landscape, even the customer landscape, in the past 20, 30 years are almost the same. And in the past 10 years, we even do not have newcomer coming into this industry because this is not really a sexy industry. For people who want to create revenue within a short time, this is not their ideal industry to enter into. So everyone in this industry use almost the same technology, topology, or the operational process. I always challenge into my team, say, if everyone are nearly the same with the infrastructure, why customer want to awarded us with their order revenue? I think the key is efficiency. So we are very strong monitoring in efficiency. And I believe this is also the key value of myself in Voltronic, that I am monitoring the efficiency on every corner. So that's the reason why every day, most of my time I'm spending in operational detail. And I also believe maybe not workable with the other industry, but for UPS industry, it is detail to decide it win or lose. So this is a very fundamental thing.
Do you spend a lot of time, I guess, on regrets or playing back decisions you've taken, or are you quite decisive? Once you've taken a decision, that's it. Don't look back. We're doing this.
Fortunately, not much. Again, my personality is being educated by this industry. I think anyone, if they want to achieve something in our UPS industry, like I just said, there is no thing like short term. There is no way you can make quick money. Everything is layer after layer accumulation. Like the previous company I'm working for, Finistech, is exactly the idea. The owner itself is a very good engineer, very decent, very honest, and looking into every of the operational practical things. And I took that as a role model. I always told him, we are still a very good friend. I always told him, say, in the 7 years I working for him, he teach me how to be an entrepreneur in the UPS industry. And also I think in all the owner, it's very easy to say yes to everything, but it's always very difficult to say no because there are a lot of changes, a lot of temptation, attraction that we have to be very consideration all the time.
Can we talk a bit about growth? So maybe you could paint a picture of the growth opportunity for the company. And really, I'm talking just big picture about global power demand. It seems to be one of the strongest, well, certainly a strong thematic growth area that the world needs more power. Alongside that is the world's electricity grids. Depends which country you're talking about, but in many quite mature economies, there's a need to upgrade grids, and therefore there's opportunity. And then if you think about where growth has been, obviously things like data centers are adding extra demand for power onto systems that may well be fully utilized or are creaking a bit because they're quite old. So could you talk a bit about the bigger picture, how you see demand for power globally evolving?
Yeah. For the big picture, I think two directions. First, the direction is indeed the global energy demand definitely will continue to increasing. So because of that, the higher power rating products, we can also see their growth very fast. Taking ourselves as an example, we are already the largest ODM manufacturer in the world. However, in the past 10 years, our major revenue are coming from small to medium-sized UPS or inverter up to 20 kilowatts. However, we do see that above 20 kilowatt in the recent 2 years, the demanding coming from our tier 1 or tier 2 customer increasing very fast. In this quarter, our high power UPS, YOY, we have more than 40% growth. So this is the portion we used to be very small. Right now, we do see they are a stronger opportunity. Along with the power rating increase, that's another is regarding with the technology about the efficiency. Going into data center or AI data center, the high efficiency is one of the must to have the specification. So I think UPS are also in a turning point in the past maybe 2-3 decades. Technology change pretty slow. But right now, from the hardware side, we are start to using more and more new technology. The power component used to be MOSFET IGBT. Now, more and more silicon carbide MOSFET, more and more microprocessor control, DSP control. So this is one direction. Another direction is energy itself. They are transiting from the traditional, the big power plant, one directional power distribution to we call 3D, decouplized, digitalized, and decentralized. So a company like us, we are offering from power generation, we are offering solar inverter from 1 kilowatt all the way to 200 kilowatt. That's for residential use and for we call CNI, commercial and industry use, up to the we call decentralized power generation by solar. And another is we call digitalized, that we are using almost all products are processor control, more and more computing feature inside. Compared to 10 years ago, UPS is a very hardware product. Right now, the firmware, software, digitalized are already very popular. And decouplized, that's also one of the key. We are very fortunate. We're making a lot of green products. Solar inverter, for example, we have pretty good penetration in many of the developing countries. For example, country in Africa, they have all the years very low level of the grid infrastructure. As a result, there are many of the load shedding power cuts. People are already get used to use a diesel generator as their second source of power generation. However, that's polluted. That's sometimes dangerous. So we see right now, thanks to the much more affordable price coming from the solar panel, lithium battery, we see that there are more and more people replacing their diesel generator to solar inverter system. And in many places, the solar electricity cost is even lower than the grid electricity cost people are paying for. So they are not only for the green, but also they have a very obvious the financial incentive behind. So because of that, so decouplized, this is also one of the direction we are continuing to doing more. So for example, we are continuing to enlarge our power rating of the solar inverter to enter into a large power, hundreds of kilowatts of solar inverter together with hundreds of kilowatts of lithium battery as a storage unit.
When you look at some of the forecasts that exist for global power demand, and data centers obviously need to offer continuous service. Do you think that estimates are too low or too high? Do you think that actually the world will need more power and is underestimated, and therefore that has lots of consequences, but obviously has positive consequences for you?
Yeah, certainly the AI data center are booming especially for last 1 to 2 years. In the beginning, there are a lot of very aggressive forecasts on the capex, on the spending of the AI data center. But you can see that the energy consumption of AI data center are much bigger than the regular data center. AI server, for example, the regular server take about maybe 5 to 7 kilowatts. AI server takes 3 times more. Each server takes 20 kilowatts. So you can see the NVIDIA's, their infrastructure of the server rack. Each server rack, they take 120 kilowatts. That's a lot of power. And in the AI data center, easily they use hundreds of server racks. So one data center, they take several megawatts energy coming from the grid. So as a result, people start to worry about there's no grid infrastructure able to take this stress. So then they are people looking for alternative energy coming from wind or solar. So I think that's a good thing that as a renewable product supplier like us, that we can also provide the energy source other than the coming from the grid to the AI data center. However, I'm not convinced the AI data center will all be able to build in a large quantity as people see right now. Because after all, it's not that easy to build almost in everywhere a large AI data center. Instead, I think the edge computing data center, they were getting more and more feasible. This is not a new idea. In data center time, there are already many industry people talking about on top of the data center, there are edge computing, but it never happened because AI data center regularly, people still afford to build it quickly. However, AI data center, that's much more difficult. So edge computing, meaning that there's still a small size of the data center, but taking lower energy using a small number of the rack system, and they can deploy much easy in many places. So this is also another direction that we believe that is good with us, especially we are very strong in small to medium size UPS. Just imagine like each AI data center, 120 kilowatts. We can install 100, 150 kilowatts UPS in each rack, and together with the storage unit coming from lithium battery or supercapacitor. That is also one of the products we are good at. So that's also providing us some more potential opportunity than before for future growth.
One more question, really, back to being a leader of people. 2 questions, really. One, have you got better at assessing talent over time? And second is talent, is human capital a constraint on growth? Are you finding it hard to find enough good people to be able to execute your growth plans?
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Talent development is always challenging in UPS industry. Like I just reported, this is a very traditional industry for many years. Maybe 10 years ago, some of the younger generation, they like to work in more software instead of more hardware. Right now, young generation, they like to work for semiconductor instead of power industry. So it's always one of my key jobs to plan the talent development. I spend a lot of time coaching staff. I think maybe 80% of my time every day is talking, meeting, discussing with a different tier of our staff, even go up to the engineering level. And I think I always believe this is the most effective way to pass my value, pass my insight about this industry to our staff, especially for young generation, because many of them, they are still very young. They don't have experience. Their learning curve are very limited. So for us, we only need to spend a certain level of time. They can really broaden their view sight, many of their career plan. So that's number one. And number two, certainly we are still quite profitable company. So we invest significant resources in talent retention. We offer good packaging, salary. In Taiwan, our authority, every year they release the salary package, the list. Voltronic is always in the maybe top 20 company among the over 1,000 listed company. And I think in the top 10, I remember the 2023, the list of top 10, we are number 10. And from number 1 to number 9, they are all semiconductor company, even as we are coming from the power industry. So this is another thing. It's very practical that we need to pay them well to incentive them to believe that this is the industry they can create the value for their very low career period.
I think the main thing I'm taking away from this is you seem to really enjoy doing what you do. You founded the company in 2008, it's 2025, but it seems to me that you skip to work every morning. Is that fair?
Yeah, you're right. I really enjoy what I'm working, but I always say to my team, working is not playing. Even though I enjoy, but I think 90% of my time every day is with a lot of difficulty, challenging question, etc. But I already, design in, this is the style of my work for many, many years.
Great. Well, Alex, thank you very much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And look, it was great hearing how you've built the business, how the business can grow, and how you operate as obviously a very successful leader. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of SuiteTalk. If you found this discussion inspiring and informative, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring you more engaging content and connect with top business leaders. Follow us on social media and visit our website for more episodes and content. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep leading. This is Hugo Scott Hall, signing off from SuiteTalk.
This content is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended as investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any security or to adopt any investment strategy. Investment advice and recommendations can be provided only after careful consideration of investors' objectives, guidelines, and restrictions. As of the date of this recording, William Blair Investment Management held positions in the company referenced in one or more of its investment strategies. References to specific companies are for illustrative purposes only and should not be construed as investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any security. The securities identified and described do not represent all of the securities purchased, sold, or recommended for client accounts. It should not be assumed that any investment in the companies referenced was or will be profitable. The views and opinions expressed are those of the speakers as of the date of this recording and are subject to change without notice as economic and market conditions dictate. It may not reflect the views and opinions of other investment teams within William Blair Investment Management. Factual information has been obtained from sources we believe to be reliable, but its accuracy, completeness, or interpretation cannot be guaranteed. Any discussion of particular topics is not meant to be comprehensive and may be subject to change. This material may include forecasts, estimates, outlooks, projections, and other forward-looking statements. Due to a variety of factors, actual events may differ significantly from those presented. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Any investment or strategy mentioned herein may be not suitable for every investor.